the 12th of January, actually 13th. Wow, as I know, actually 12th. Wow. Not a good way to start your day when you actually do not know what date it is, but we do know what time it is. It's time for the morning drift. My name is Simba Kiage. Today being a Thursday, it is a Amwai is a Monday, meaning that he still has 5 days to stick around. Amwai, good morning.
Now listen, we thought that probably by starting this January things are going to be different. You're going to be having normal days, but here we are, still doing the same thing.
Yeah.
That's beside the point.
It is a
Why
Monday,
would you confuse? It is. We've just done 2 weeks of this year.
Yeah.
Why are you not sure which day it is today?
I pretty much know. Maybe because I came back to work this week. My brain is still adjusting. Why? So how does it feel having your Monday on a Thursday? It's not the same. Why?
Well, it's not, but we've adjusted. Psychologically, I think we're prepared. We know it's not Monday per se, but it's to some extent, we'll say, because the weekend is mostly a little bit relaxed. So you're just like, today is Thursday, so Friday is already a weekend, Saturday, Sunday. So most of the time I'm working, it's not that much pressure, I'll say that.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So I don't have Monday blues like everybody else who's like,
oh,
I'm just
Thursday
on the
blues.
weekend, I need to be getting to work and all that. So
But the entire change. What if they change you? What if they say you start working on normal days from Monday to Friday? Do you think you're gonna have trouble adjusting, working over the week over the week?
I think I'm going to have trouble having a weekend, a normal weekend. I'm not used to having a normal weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. I think that will be the issue. But coming to work on a Monday, I think I do come to work on my Mondays are Fridays. Yeah. But the weekends, that's where I'm going to be having a little bit of an issue. I'll be like, I don't know how weekends do, you know, when you're at home, what are you supposed to be doing during the weekend? Yeah. So that's a little bit tricky for me. Okay. But if we come to that particular point, then we'll just find a way of balancing that again.
Balance it and then see how it goes. Anyway, there's a lot that is happening in the country, by the way. Miguna is back. Amwai is actually in the country.
Yeah, he did come back.
And he's been
went for a little break and now he's back and he keeps announcing that he has come back. And this is something interesting because I believe the president will be visiting the Nyanda region very soon. Yeah. And he's part of the people that will probably are organizing to have him, you know, come visit that Raila Odinga stuff.
You think?
I think he's going to be in that particular, because he's part from that particular region, Simba. Yeah. From that particular region, he's one of the people that are supporting the president to some extent, not entirely, but you know, have his back.
Which is what I wanted to ask you. Do you think I don't want to call him an activist. Do you think his voice, yes, I wanted to use that word. Do you think his voice now is sort of been sliced now that he's got nobody particularly speaking against, and that has to be Raila Odinga? Now,
this is the thing. If you follow his politics, and every time he attempts to speak or just post something on Twitter, normally it is an attack on the former Prime Minister, that is Raila Odinga. So if Raila Odinga is not speaking, then there are some people who do not have content, because I follow him on Twitter, and most of the time he's speaking about something. When Raila Odinga is not on the table or has not said anything, then he's focusing more on the international kind of politics, the United States, the UK, and all that. But when Raila Odinga says something, that's when now he comes back local and things like that. So Raila Odinga, you know, does, you know, get to feed him. So if he's not in the picture for a while, then we don't get to hear of him that much. And I remember yesterday I was reading a tweet and somebody was saying, where is this guy? We've not had him speak for quite a while. He decided, like, I don't know, he came back to the country. We thought he's going to be a force to reckon with and things like that. And he just went silent. And, you know, we can't hear of him anymore. No airtime, no nothing.
So much really to talk about that area, and it's been talking. I will tell you what it was speaking about yesterday. But then a lot of political happenings again in the country. There's one governor, Abdul Samad, in is that Mombasa County, isn't it? Yeah, is working with former Governor Joho's cabinet, and they stuck with it for what has been 100 days one of those weird county governments where there hasn't been really a change of guard in as far as those government ministries are concerned. I mean,
Let me tell you something. I remember when we were talking about this last year, when we were just heading to elections, we were talking about the importance of continuity. Because most of the time, why counties go back to square one, to the drawing board, to try to do things anew, is because you get to office, you find a governor that has tried to do something, but because you want him out totally, you do away with everything that he has ever done, then you go back to square one. And this has to do, like, managerial positions in most cases. But we are just looking at the importance of continuity. So we were suggesting, and I remember talking to you, that to some extent, if at all you get into an office and you find that there's something is working there, why not just maintain that? If it's not working, then you can do away with that. But you don't have to, do away with this so that you want to create your own legacy and things like that.
Wow. Yeah. He's calling it the importance of continuity. That is according to Amwai this morning. Well, let's look at the newspapers this morning then, shan't we? Well, welcome back to the Morning Drift. My name is Simba Kiage. Let's then look at exactly what's going on in the newspapers this morning. I don't have the standard. I'd like to start with what Amwai has. By the way, you can be part of this conversation right here online at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. I am at Kiage Simba on Twitter, that is. Let's get talking this morning. And Amwai, I do know, is at Amwai Brand. Yeah. On our Twitter.
We haven't changed that to the Amwai Brand.
You need to. You said in 2023 you're supposed to change it.
Of course, new year, new things. But you remember the first time we were doing the show this year.
How much am I getting? How much
showed that off. Yeah. He said we are not going to be doing new year, new me, things like that.
No.
Yeah, so I've decided to give that a break a little bit. So yeah.
But remember, if you change it, then I'm coming in for some lunch because I'm the one behind the Amwai Brand. It's actually really, you should change it. Imagine going join me online at the Amwai Brand. Oof. Anyway, let's start with the Daily Nation, shan't we?
Let's start with the Daily Nation. And some of the topics being given priority here on the Daily Nation. The headline here is Ghost Workers Paradise in the Counties. Now, this is according to an audit report just released. Audits by 8 counties have revealed loss of 4.3 billion. Shillings, that's the money that has been looted, Simba. Yeah. And 25 governors promised staff audits within 2 weeks of assuming office to weed out ghost workers. Now, we remember when governors were being sworn in, this was a subject of debate. We're just talking about it most of the time and saying, looking at some of the governors that have gone in already and just started, uprooting, if we may call it that, the ghost workers in those particular counties. Remember saying about Kisii, where Simba Arati said, now, get to, line up here so that if you are a driver in this particular county, I want to see which vehicle you drive and things like that, and realize that so many did not, were ghost workers, were registered as county government workers, but did not have, actual work that they were doing for the county government. And something else here, only 8 counties have enforced the investigations that have revealed at least 4.3 billion has been looted. Now, this is out of the 25 that had promised to actually, do staff audits and things like that. Now, Senate dragging its feet on an investigation into the loss of over 35 billion since 2013. 35 billion, this is the money that is being said has been lost since 2013, since we started the devolution. Makes us then start questioning whether, did we devolve grafts to some extent and things like that?
That's how you look at it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if you're a governor, then one of the responsibilities that you have is to make sure that you have a physical count of the people that you're paying. Or in that payroll, isn't it?
No, listen, so this is the thing. I was listening to this governor of Kiambu, this is Wamatangi, and he was saying, to some extent, the people, the office holders that have been there before did hire some people at the county level. There's somebody who just has been hired to be a blogger and just, insult the governor and things like that. They are on the payroll and pensionable, things like that, permanent jobs. This is the thing. So you say getting away with, doing away with those people rather is a little bit tricky for him when he looks at it. And things like that. So he says there's somebody who is being paid to just sit in a hotel and start tweeting and, you know, blogging about a particular governor, insulting so-and-so and things like that.
Yeah.
So you say there is, and this is something that was put on the table, and they were told, before you start rooting out these ghost workers, you first have to identify who is benefiting from this. If you get the person that is benefiting from this, then you will get to understand why, you know, how to actually do away with them. Because you can do away with them, but if there's somebody else somewhere who makes sure that they always come in, then they will always come in. So how do we get these ghost workers, Simba? Well, some people, you know, have been employed, then they passed away, and still their names are
still their names on that, and bones taking that money. It's those
Exactly.
accountants in the county government, isn't it? Yeah, they're the ones who are taking that money. But my question is this, Amwai, why can't you do what one governor, Simba Kiage, did when he was just beginning his tenure, where in one stadium, Kisii Stadium, he called everybody who works for the county government and took a day where if you missed that day, then it was assumed that you don't work there. I mean, that governor came out of that particular meeting when he knew the number of people that he had employed in that county government and their respective qualifications. They actually told them, come with your papers. So when other governors say that we don't know how to get them out, I'm like, that's a lie. I mean, look, it'll take you less than a day to approve all the workers that you're actually employing in your county government. Now, so it's a lie, Amwai, to come in and tell us we don't know how to get them out.
Simba has been used, not you Simba, but Simba Rati has been used as the SI unit when it comes to doing away with the ghost workers. So and physical, like, you can emulate that and do away with that.
And Amwai, it's not the very first time that we've seen physical counts get done in county governments. We've seen them before. Yeah, even in national government. We've had bosses who say, well, I work for a bigger state agency. We have more than 5,000 employees. All of you tomorrow at 8 a.m., let's meet so and so. And you do a register, all right? Come with your qualifications, come with your national ID and everything that you used to get employed. That's how you catch them. I just don't understand other governors saying we don't know how to get them out. Anyway,
I think it's a little bit of laxity from them, if you may.
It is. Yeah, so. It is. When counties are losing 13.5 billion, Amwai, it just doesn't make sense. Anyway, since we have 2 minutes, Amwai, could I tell you what is the biggest headline on the Standard? On the Standard this morning, we have the headline of how Kenya is facing, by the way, the drought is still here with us, worst drought in 40 years, and Kenyans have been hit hard. And according to this, it is the worst in 4 decades after insufficient short rains in 22 counties, and the Treasury warns that 2023, therefore, will be a bad year for the economy. Read that story into pages 6 and 22 of the Standard. So it looks as if we're not starting 2023 on a good note, if indeed the Treasury is warning Kenyans to tighten their belt.
It's going to be tough for us here, I think, this year, and that is coming from the Treasury, just looking at it, and also the issue of drought here in the country. We, just the last days, the last months to, last year, we were actually, having it tough, having to donate food to places that we will never have imagined will be, suffering from the issues to do with drought and things like that.
I will tell you, there's just so much that's going on in the country. Anyway, on that note, let's take a tiny breather again, Amwai. Once we come back, then we go online and see what it is that Kenyans are talking about. Okay. Online at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. I am at Simba. Amwai brand is at, actually, brand Amwai is at Amwai brand. I bet you can, listen, Amwai, I've been telling you this. I think I'm not trying to change your ID, but you can change it. I think you should say your name is Amwai brand.
My name is Amwai brand.
That's it.
Why would I start with my surname though?
Why? But it gives your
name. I'm so used to doing Brian Amwai.
No, do not say Brian Amwai. Your ID should start with your one. Is it your English name? Or you say, like, my name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage. But now there's Kiage in front of that. My name is Kiage.
Oh, Kiage Simba.
Yeah.
So I do Amwai brand.
My brand. Your identity is Amwai. The name that should live longer
It's Amwai.
Should you decide to extend it this is Amwai brand? As across the board. Anyway,
All right.
let's go online.
That is actually considered. But
when
is it not enough that my Twitter handle is at Amwai Brian?
Yeah. So even your name is Amwai brand.
Oh, okay.
As Amwai is the family name, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's heavier than Brian. Everybody has Brian. And apparently people don't like...
that's heavier than Brian.
Yeah, and apparently people say, we've never seen old Brians.
We're the first generation.
It's a very new name.
Come on. We're the first generation.
The way we don't have old Kevins. Kevo.
So Brian, Kevins and all that.
Yeah, very.
This is the first generation. I think right now we are just going to, but by the time we hit 50, we'll be like Brian.
Yeah, isn't it? Somebody was saying none of them is 30 years old yet.
Don't do that.
I'm not going to do that. Thank you very much. Let's jump online so we could see what is trending. Yes, I'm still with Amwai brand. That is official now. It's Amwai brand. Good. Brand. Let's jump into a tweet center this morning, then, so we can see some of the things that you're talking about online. Could we jump into the first one so we read it together? Good. All right, let's do it. This particular time, do we have it? Yes, here it is. This is Stephen Mtoro, who's tweeting this morning. Forget Lesedi developers. From my experience, over 95% firms dealing in property are crooks and worthy candidates at the committee maximum prison. Make no mistake, not all are rotten people like George at Optivem, CEO, and Optivem Limited represents everything right with real estate. By the way, we work with Optivem, we work with them at Lookuptv, isn't it? See, Amwai, the story here is that these developers at Lesedi, allegedly, they've sold hot air to investors who bought into their master plans. You can get your dream home, come buy it with us, got land, and then you go right in and you put your money in with a promise that's exactly what you're going to get. Once you demand a visit, you're taken to, according to the investors that we've seen complaining, you're taken to the field, they show you the places that you're supposed to buy and the house you're supposed to buy, you're told this is the house, and apparently you're not the only one who's getting shown this. Another bunch of people come in again, they're told, they're taking the same property that you're taking to Amwai, all right? They're told this is exactly what you're going to buy. And then after that, you pay in or you buy in, and you're told, come 4 months later, check the progress of your property. Guess what? Once you go back, you've got no house, you've lost your land, you've lost your money, you've got no title deed. So the question is, all these Kenyans who are buying property unseen, I want to ask you this question. What is wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Sometimes I really can't blame them. To some extent, just somebody gives you a good deal and you're like, if I take longer in, replying to this, making the transactions and all that, I'm not gonna find it and things like that. Because I know I could be a victim of this because when I call and say, by the way, I need something, then somebody tells me, you need to deposit some money first before, so that we actually get to secure, because this is very competitive, somebody else wants it and things like that.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, so how much do you want right now? Yeah. And I'm like, okay, let me find the money, transaction, So I could be one of the victims, and I know where I'm coming from.
Red flag. So I'm like, red flag. Yeah. Red flag. Like, give us a percentage, then after that we start doing it. Red flag. I mean, if you cannot prove the ownership of this property to a particular company and then do your further investigations and say exactly what they delivered, who they've delivered to, how they have delivered, and why, you are right for getting conned. And guess what? The government ain't going to help you. Yeah. You signed a private contract with them. Like, we'll be looking at you and telling you, you didn't do your due diligence. It's like those guys who buy cars online unseen. Why are you going to do that? You can't, like, give you a very nice picture of this guy, tell you I'm an importer, I create a website online and I call in my 20 friends who are going to testify that I've sold them cars and those cars are not even theirs, and then I tell you, wow, give me 50% and then come collect your car. Yeah. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Because I remember there's a time I was sitting in for you on local business, and we were having a conversation on matters real estate. Yeah. You're just talking about how do you ensure that something is legit, and our guest at that particular time said, what you do is make sure that you involve a lawyer. Just do it the legal way. Yeah. And I was like, so why is it that most of the time people get conned when it comes to this property. You buy a property, then later on there's a, a little bit of a legal issue, or this land doesn't belong to you and things like that. You're like, I sold this land, I have the title deed, and you are two people that have the title deed and things like that. So then he says, Kenyans are afraid to spend when it comes to legal fees and things like that.
That's it. No. That's it. So now you fail to spend maybe 100,000 to get a legal expert to help you go around the understanding property matters in the country, and then after that you get conned. Then later on you start crying, isn't it? I mean, we're in 2023 for crying out loud. Before you give somebody your money, be 100%, in fact, get a book, revise it. How do I not get conned in this country?
So this is the thing. So what you're trying to say is the issue when somebody presents something to you and say it's very competitive, you need to make a down payment first.
No,
we
don't
do that.
Before the money comes out of your pocket, Amwai, make sure that you've done the due diligence completely. By the way, I'm not going to point out the daily that did that story where the CEO of Lesedi Property Developers was talking about how he built his empire, all right, with no loans. Another question. Amwai, how can you do that without a law?
I do not want to get into
Thank you. Thank you. That first headline that I looked at and said, how did you do it without a loan? Anyway, let's look into the next tweet this morning. In as much as what Kenya's talking about is concerned, and this one you will know very well, Amwai. This is according to Miguna, dealing with impunity merchants and the culture of impunity is not vendetta, all right? The establishment of the State Capture Commission is but just one mechanism of addressing the issues of abuse of power, abuse of public office, and plunder of public resources. This was in support of what the Deputy President has been really championing in the country. We don't want state capture. Do you support?
Okay, now, let me get back a little bit. Listen, we don't want state capture, but we have an administration that came into office and told us that, was it the IG or Kinoti? Who was Kinoti?
Yeah.
That he had resigned. Then later on, we talk back and say we did fire him. So when we look at that, we are looking at, to some extent, that's how we look at it. We say, I fired this guy. We're looking at it as revenge. It's not like he decided to just resign out of his own volition. It's a forced resignation, something like that. So he was fired, and that's an admission by the administration itself. So for me, I think it depends with how you want to look at it. If you are in support of the government, you'll say probably, we are trying to deal with the issue of state capture that has been here and there most of the time. If you're on the other side, you look at it as vengeance. If you're trying to be objective, then maybe you can actually have a balance and say, maybe this is exactly what is happening. Maybe, this person is not working, will not be good for this particular administration, and maybe you look at it in another angle and you say, no. This person, according to what he has done, has been good. I think whatever they're doing is just pure revenge and things like that.
Anyway, Miguna is in full support, isn't it? The way you look at it, and you don't think it's not, and they're saying it's not vendetta, it is just how you're supposed to read according to Miguna.
Listen, for somebody who's been, forced out of this country, I think you should be very careful with what you get to support.
That's it. Thank you very much. I wanted to hear that come from you. Because the thing is, Amwai, when you form a commission of to investigate state capture, who are you going to investigate? For a man who's been very, very keen on speaking bad about how Uhuru Kenyatta ran things in this country. It looks as if you go for his people.
Then state capture, okay, so if you are the state, then I think the state's supposed to be the most, strong part here. And people who are involved in that should not... who captures the state, though?
That's it. But another question that we should ask, Amwai, don't we have bodies that are supposed to investigate how this institutions
because
are run.
It is very sad.
Yes, it is.
For an administration to say we've been captured, so we are unable to do one or two things because we feel like somebody from out can actually say that. If the opposition gets to say the state has been captured by so and so, you say okay. But for the administration itself to start admitting that maybe we have a little bit of state capture here and there, or we want to deal with this issue in one way or another. Because for me, I thought the moment we took our power, that's
end of
what we're supposed to do. You understand? So you are against the issue of state capture. So that the moment you are sworn into office, the issue of state capture ends there and then.
Oof, questions, isn't it? Anyway, guys, that's exactly what it is that you're talking about online. Join us online again at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. That man right there is at Amwai Brian on Twitter. I am at Kiage Simba. We take a tiny breather. Once we come back again, I'll be taking you to the newsroom where we'll get to show you the biggest headlines that you are waking up to this morning in as far as our newsroom right here on a Lookuptv is concerned.
Sienda nayo huko ndani, unaacha hapo kwa luggage ndio uingie.
Ni wacho kwa luggage namna gani nataka kutumia huko ndani? Nimekuja na hii gani ndio inatumika? Hii paketi ama hii kuchota? Kwani serious hii? Bwana wacheni mchezo bwana. Nini nini?
Karibu customer. Hizi bidhaa unaziacha pale kwenye luggage ndipo sasa ufanye shopping kwa supermarket yetu. Kuchota ni kufanya shopping pekee.
Ni kufanya shopping.
Raundi hii chota kuchota mapema na Hetia Supermarket ndio best. Kwa mara nyingine tena Hetia Supermarket inakuletea chota kuchota na Hetia Supermarket. Kushiriki shindano la chota kuchota ni rahisi. Ingia tu Hetia Supermarket iliyo karibu nawe Kitale, Bungoma, Eldoret, Kakamega, Kisumu, Busia, Naivasha, Limuru, Nairobi, Thika, Nyeri, Meru, Chuka na Maua. Nunua bidhaa ya shilingi 600 na zaidi na utapewa raffle ticket. Jaza vizuri na utumbukize kwa sanduku iliyo mlangoni. Utakuwa umeingia kwa draw ya kujishindia zawadi kama gari 7 aina Daihatsu Mira, pikipiki 21 aina ya TVS, 1130 school fees, TVS, microwaves, shopping vouchers na vingine vingi.
Bas, ni huku. Saidia bibi.
Chota kuchota imethaminiwa na Kiwi Bacon, Savannah Juice Fruit Vial, My Choice Hand Wash, Zesta Choco Primo, Ketepa, Blue Band, Aramco, Oven Fresh Bread, Nivea, Silent Night Mattresses, Coca-Cola pamoja na Hisense. Shindano hili limeidhinishwa na BCLB permit number 002816. Sheria na masharti kutumika.
Chota kuchota na Hetia Supermarket, na hii motokaa gari smart kabisa inaweza kuwa yako. Unangoja nini? Ingia, fanya shopping yako Hetia Supermarket, uchoto kuchote na hii kari, hii motokaa inaweza kuwa yako. Mtu anaweza pesa kwa buti.
Hetia Supermarket, a world of choice.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
I want to thank you for walking the journey with us. Dear customer, my name is Patrick Mushoki, Mahiga Homes Director. Mahiga Homes is all about customers. Right now, we are preparing to do our 10th handover, and we are also, as a company, celebrating 5 years in business. 5 years is a very long time for somebody to be in the same business. We cannot be here if you never believed in us. And that's why as a company, we pride ourselves for having you. Construction or real estate business is never easy. 2022 has been a year of mixed fortunes. We have seen our economy being stretched beyond the limits, or what some people would say the economy has been erratic. But our dear customer, you have stood by us, with us and for us. The number of calls that I receive from customers encouraging me to carry on and doing what is right, they normally give me a lot of strength. And that's why I celebrate you, and I feel you are the most important part of me. Whenever a customer comes to buy a house from us, there are two angles to it. The customer will look at me and wonder whether I'll be able to finish the houses. But equally, I am there wondering, now that my customer has done a deposit, will my customer be able to finish paying that house? So you see, our worries is the same. But through God's help, and through us, both of us are working, we are able to construct and come to such a level like where we are today. My dear customer, we can never take this for granted. And that's why we keep on praying God that He can continue strengthening you, strengthening our company, so that we can keep on providing the housing solution for many. It is never easy, and that's why I say keep on praying for us, just the way we keep on praying that you as our customer can be able to finish paying.
Welcome back to the Morning Drift. My name is Simba Kiage. We are online at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms at this time. 1 minute, let's cross over to the newsroom so we can see some of the biggest headlines that you're waking up to this morning. Now, Narok Court has slapped 50-year-old man with life imprisonment after he pleaded guilty of defiling and marrying a 10-year-old girl, Saigulu Ololo Sekreka, who appeared before Narok Senior Resident Magistrate Phyllis Shianda, was faced with the 2 counts of abuse, namely defiling a 10-year-old girl and marrying a minor. Cecilia Lubanga opens our bulletin this morning.
It is a sad state of affairs, but justice at last for the 10-year-old minor who had been married off to a 50-year-old man in Narok County.
Peter Lagat.
The 50-year-old has been slapped with life imprisonment on count of defilement and 3 years to the second count of early marriage, which he will serve concurrently. The senior magistrate noted in a ruling that the heinous act had a permanent psychological and physical effect on the young girl who had also undergone female genital mutilation before she was married and later underwent a cesarean section when giving birth.
With respect to count 1, the accused person is hereby sentenced to imprisonment for life. With respect to count 2, the accused person is hereby sentenced to serve 3 years imprisonment. The sentences will run concurrently, and he has a right of appeal of 14 days against the sentence.
The court was told that the accused showed no remorse despite being warned of the magnitude of the offense, and instead insisted that the young girl was his wife who he had married for 3 years. This comes in the wake of concerns over a trend where girls are exchanged for livestock and other items in the vast part of Narok County and other parts of the country that are still rooted to the retrogressive culture. Cecilia Lubanga, Lookuptv.
Patrick.
3 children lost their lives after their house was razed down by a fire last night in Kawede, Machakos County. The house is said to have been set ablaze by unknown people, with the incident linked to a tussle in the family. Ian Ketani files the following story.
A somber mood engulfed Kawithei, Kangundo, Machakos County after 3 children aged 8, 6 and 7 respectively were burnt beyond recognition after their house was torched last night.
There was an attack in an homestead. One Richard Musyoki Mulili. Officers were mobilized from Kakuyuni and they dropped to the scene.
Confirming the tragic incident, Kangundo Sub-County Police Commander Zakaria Bitok say the 3, 2 boys and a girl, were asleep in their house when unknown people suspected to be their relatives allegedly torched their house over land dispute.
Later on it turned to be that the invaders set fire to the homestead, which the occupants disappeared into the bushes to hide, but 3 children who were sleeping in one of the houses got burned. They got burned beyond recognition, and their bodies were recovered after the fire had been put off. So this morning we are proceeding on with the investigation. We understand that there was a land dispute which has been ongoing for a while now.
It is alleged that there have been issues of land facing the nuclear family, where they were accusing each other of favoring one side and ignoring the other. According to Area DO Joyce Sakini, the family had visited her office concerning land issues, and when negotiations bore no fruit, she advised them to visit the courts.
This family was in my office yesterday, and we tried to solve this amicably. And I could also bear witness that they had a long-standing dispute from the past decades. Yeah. So the matter surrounding this is purely on inheritance.
No suspect has been arrested in connection to the accident as investigations continue, with the area residents condemning the incident.
Wale wamepotea ni watoto ambao Mungu angetaka waweze kuishi. And I condemn to the highest this act which has happened here, kwa sababu nchi yetu inatawaliwa na sheria.
Ian Keitani, Lookuptv.
To a story that has been trending for some time now, an autopsy report of Edwin Kiprotich Kipto, famously known as a Chiloba from Eldoret town, shows that he was killed by stuffing pieces of fabric into his mouth and nose. The report has revealed events that took place during his murder, which has continued to receive mixed reactions, especially on the social media platforms. Samia Dika with that report.
Lead Chief Government Pathologist Dr. Johansen Odur, speaking after examining the body of the late Eldoret-based model Chiloba, has indicated that his nose and mouth were blocked using pieces of clothes that led to his suffocation.
What we concluded that could have led to the death of the late Edwin Kiprotich Kipto was what we call asphyxia, which is caused by smothering. Smothering is a blockage of the nose and of the mouth so that we cannot breathe. So that's what caused the death of the late Edwin Kiprotich Kipto.
Dr. Duor has also noted that they will need to further analyze the body to determine whether Chiloba was drugged, as there are no signs of resisting the murder.
What we ask ourselves also is, this a male, isn't it, adult, yeah? And why is it that there are no much injuries, isn't it, yeah? Is a question you should have actually asked me why. Also, as we are wondering why, but we are asking ourselves, was he drugged? Was he given a lot of alcohol so that now he could not resist? So based on that, there are samples we've taken also for analysis, which will be taken to government analysts to see whether there's any chemical or any drugs which are in the body which could have caused him not resist when he was being smothered.
Chiloba's body was discovered decomposing inside a metal box in what sleuths privy to the ongoing investigations say was a disagreement with his close associate Jackton Odhiambo.
Hiyo watu walisema ni macho yametolewa ni sababu ya decomposition. Mwili ilikuwa naoza, na kwa kawaida mwili kama inaoza unaweza ona kama macho yametolewa lakini hajatolewa.
community stakeholders have been called to educate the youth on the changes taking place in the world today so as to avoid similar cases in the future.
Tungeomba sana sana wale elders kutoka pande zote, wanaume, wanawake, waendelee kufunza wale watu wetu wadogo ndio wajue jinsi ya kuishi maisha ya wakati huu, kwa sababu dunia ya sahi inaenda mbio sana, vitu inabadilika. The world is sasa like a village, so kuna vitu mingi inaweza tendeka.
Edwin Chiloba's death has continued to receive mixed reactions on different social platforms, with the US government saying it will aid in investigations into the murder.
Kenyans, among them 960,000 children, are facing starvation due to the prolonged drought period in the country. Speaking in Nairobi County, Cabinet Secretary for East African Community, Arid and Semi-Arid Rebecca Miano, said that the government is making interventions to mitigate the situation. Shadrack Arere reports.
The country continues to fight prolonged deadly drought period it has ever experienced for 40 years. Kenya has been marked as the worst hit by drought in East Africa. Okay. While addressing media on the drought situation in the country, the Cabinet Secretary for the East Africa Community, Rebecca Miano, stated that though the state is trying harder to mitigate drought in the country, the situation may worsen due to the lack of rainfall.
Recorded currently to be affected or are food insecure in Kenya.
Miano noted that so far 4.35 million Kenyans are facing starvation in the country. Among them, 360,000 children are struggling to get food. The CS also noted that 2.5 million wildlife are also starving due to the lack of pasture. 3 counties which requires quick intervention due to the extreme drought includes Mandera, Samburu and Kwale County. The counties of Baringo, Isiolo, Garissa, Mandera, Marsabit, Narok, Turkana, Wajir, West Pokot and Kajiado County are also experiencing drought. The CS also warned that some part of evergreen counties, which are never used to drought, are also affected due to immigration and low rainfall received in the last rainy season. Such counties are Kirinyaga, Kiambu, Meru, Murang'a, Machakos, Nakuru, Elgeyo Marakwet, Siaya, Homa Bay and Migori County. On his part, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Drought Management Authority, Hared Hassan, encouraged farmers in the affected counties to sell their cattle to government agencies to avoid losses.
The government targeted all the arid counties and semi-arid counties in terms of the livestock uptake, where the county government and the national government and partners are involved to encourage farmers to sell their animals. And the exercise has been very successful. Yes, there might have been death, especially when they are migrating or they are moving from one location to other in search of pasture and water. Also, some of the animals have been transported from the affected counties to other counties which are in alarm state. So during that transportation, then we might have the death of livestock.
CS Miano, however, stated that interventions are in place to caution Kenyans by giving them relief food, repairing boreholes in the affected areas, providing animal feeds and cash transfer.
As I said in the statement, the interventions that we have include food relief, we have water tracking, we have nutrition, treatment for nutrition, provision of livestock feeds, and also even cash transfers.
Shadrack Arere, Lookuptv.
President William Ruto has urged police officers to do their work in a diligence and professionalism for the benefit of the country. Ruto said this when he presided over the 58th passing out ceremony of the administration police officers at the Embakasi camp in Nairobi.
As he presided over the 58th passing out ceremony of 1,995 graduates in the administration police, President William Ruto has emphasized on the importance of every work.
Na waambia askari wetu,
Sote tumekubaliana kazi ni kazi. Ile mimi nafanya kama rais, ile wewe utaenda kufanya kama askari, ile inafanyika pale na fundi akitumia nyundo ama akitumia randa, ile inafanywa pale ofisini na yule anatumia kompyuta. Hiyo yote ni kazi na ni majukumu ambayo kila mmoja wetu inafaa tutekeleze kwa uzalendo, tukijua ya kwamba ni mchango wetu katika kutengeneza Kenya yenye itatufaa sisi wote.
As he urged the recruits not to allow anyone to look down on their work, but to be patriotic as other jobs for the growth of the country.
Na nawauliza ya kwamba msikubali, na mimi kama kiongozi wa taifa sitaruhusu mtu yeyote kudharau kazi ya mwenzake. Sote tunachangia katika kutengeneza Kenya moja.
Further, President Ruto has said the police force should be at the forefront in tree planting, as he said the government is intending on planting over 10 million trees in Nairobi.
Nauliza wanajeshi, askari wetu wa polisi, askari wetu wa prison, wanaoishi hapa Nairobi, watusaidie kupanda miti milioni 10 hapa Nairobi, wakiungana na kaunti yetu ya Nairobi chini ya gavana wetu Mheshimiwa Sakaja. Nimemuuliza ya kwamba washirikiane na wizara yetu ya mambo ya mazingira, vile vile na Kenya Forest Service. Mutapatiwa seedlings ama miche ya miti, ndio mtusaidie kupanda miti hasa katika sehemu hii mnayoishi ya Eastlands.
On his side, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has urged the recruits not to engage in political issues, but to focus on serving Kenyans in their work.
The President of the Republic of Kenya has pronounced himself not once, not twice, that he wants our security officers to perform their duties, to protect life and property, to maintain law and order, and to arrest offenders and charge them. And he does not want them to help him in managing politics.
Katika idara hii ya usalama, Mheshimiwa Rais, umeendelea kutuongoza na kutuelekeza, na umetuambia jinsi unavyotaka kuona vikosi vyetu vya usalama wa nchi vikifanya kazi kulinda maisha na mali ya mwananchi, kutopendelea upande wowote, kutojiingiza katika siasa na kuwa waaminifu kwa katiba ya nchi yetu na sheria za nchi.
Edwin John Mokora, Lookuptv.
Today, on our daily segment of Your Opinion Matters, we ask Kenyans their take on the economic situation in their country, with just a few weeks or days to the new year. This comes as the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Njuguna Ndung'u states that this year's economic outlook doesn't look good. Sorry, the line should have been with just a few days into the new year. Let's take a look at that.
11 days since the beginning of 2023, yet the economic situation is still hitting the common mwananchi. What are they saying about the economic situation in the country? This is Your Opinion Matters.
Vile hii uchumi inakaa yenyewe si vitu kwa Mkenya wa kawaida. Tunahitaji at least serikali tuangalie itusaidie.
Vile nimekuja huku Nairobi naona uchumi umepanda sana. Maisha ni magumu, bei ya vitu imepanda, hata saa hizi tunaelekea kufungua shule lakini hatujui jinsi ambavyo maisha yatakuwa, hata kama watoto watarudi shuleni au la.
So kimimi naona uchumi uko mbaya zaidi. Sasa ukiangalia watu wena kufungua shule, vitu nyingi zimetolewa. Unaona? So parent anakuwa kuumia zaidi kuliko venye alikuwa.
So sasa Kenya imebaki ni si tushikiliane, unaona? Yaani kama hii imekauka,
mwenzangu akuwe na uwezo wengine nishikilie hiyo upande nijaze pengo fulani, unanipata?
Uchumi ni mbaya, kama vile ambavyo anasema ni ukweli, iko mbaya, si nzuri, sababu bei ya bidhaa zimepanda. Saa hii mwananchi wa kawaida hawezi jimudu.
Uchumi sio baya, isipokuwa sio baya sana. Juu vitu zinateremka polepole.
Uchumi iko juu sana, sababu sasa hata tunatarajia kupeleka watoto shule na hatujui tutafanya aje. Kwa hivyo tungeomba mheshimiwa wetu, rais wetu Ruto atupunguzie unga kiasi.
Sijajua, but mimi naona tu iko poa. Juu hata Wakenya inatakiwa tu tufanye kazi kwa bidii.
Lakini uchumi imeanza kuendelea kidogo, lakini sio vile ilikuwa.
Do bila circulation ya do hakuna venye nchi economize venye inaweza.
Itabidi Wakenya wachimbe sana zaidi ya kama walivyokuwa wakienda, ili waweze kupata jinsi ya kurudisha watoto shuleni. Hata nauli ya kurudisha watoto shuleni imepanda sana kabisa.
Vitu zingine ni serikali iamue kuempower wananchi, biashara iwape loan, at least tuone kama atafika mbele, kwa sababu mwananchi akuwe empowered, at least atalipa tax na tapata, serikali itapata pesa ya kutusaidia, si ndio?
Tunaingia 100% kwa sababu kama pesa iongezeki ile pesa yako ni kidogo, unaona? Kumaanisha kenye utafanya ni kukopa ndo uweze kusurvive.
Edizia kwanza, Mr. kudanganya kwanza, mimi nimeanza na deni ya Fuliza ya Hasla. Kwa hivyo mfuko ziko deep sana, unaona?
Tutalazimika zaidi.
Hiyo nayo watachimba.
Na tuangalilie shule, tusiambiwe tulipe uniform shule.
Surely it has always been like that miaka zote. So I expect that pia.
Lakini kwa sasa bado wanaendelea kuchimba, lakini sio vile ilikuwa nyuma.
And those are just but some of the opinions that Kenyans had to offer on Your Opinion Matters as they offer a better economic situation days to come. Moses Okech, Lookuptv.
A story by Moses Okech on your expectations for 2023. Because we look at the conversations around that particular subject. Everybody is saying that the world economy in 2023 is facing its biggest task yet. Skyrocketing inflation in majority of the biggest economies. We do expect the same in Kenya. And what the CS essentially is saying, Treasury expect more taxes. Probably one of the conversations that we will be picking on Look Up Business right here on Lookuptv. My name is Simba Kiage. Today, being Thursday, Amwai is coming in then to talk matters health. But let's begin on a very particular area that, in my opinion, actually, not my opinion, it's public information that mental health has not been given the focus it needs by our government. So today, on the Morning Drift, Amwai comes shortly after this break with that conversation. I'll see you from 11 to 12 for Look Up Business.